Hey, Mike Healy here, and I have another how-to video for you. This video is how to understand MLM pay plans. Now, it's actually kind of, it's going to be a simple video, so you're not going to get to, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on each one. I will be able to tell you that these are probably the top 5 compensation plans that are in the MLM industry. And I have worked each one of these comp plans, so I kind of can bring a little experience to the table with these. So what you're going to do is we're going to go through the differences and what they each mean. That way you're kind of a little more competent when you're understanding or looking at these comp plans, or more importantly, if you're trying to explain them, you know what the benefits are. So we're going to go through the Unilevel, Stairstep Breakaway, a thing called a forced matrix, a binary, and a single line. Okay, so let me break these down for you. All right, now with the Unilevel, basically Unilevel is one of the original compensation plans that ever came out in network marketing. And it kind of would look, it's basically a very simple structure. Basically everybody would start, you start here, and then most of them have what we call levels. They call like 1, 2, 3, and let's just do 4 levels on this one just for simplicity's sake. But if you enroll somebody, that person would go right here on your first generation. So on your first generation, they're there, and then the next person you would bring in would go there, the next person you bring in, and so on. And that typically goes to, infinity, as wide as you want to go with that. Now, if this person enrolled somebody, they would go on their first level, and so on. Typically with a Unilevel comp plan, this is a basic structure. A lot of direct selling models use this one, like direct selling companies, maybe not fully multi-leveled. But how the pay would work, as an example of 4 levels, is if $1 is paid out, let's say, you might have to where this guy would get a quarter, this guy get a quarter, this guy get a quarter, and this guy get a quarter if there was, somebody that went like here, okay? So if this guy came in and $1 was paid out, 25 cents, 25 cents, 25 cents, 25 cents, and then you wouldn't, if it was only 4 levels, you wouldn't get paid on this guy because he was below the Unilevel that you're capable of. Now, there are a lot of good comp plans out there now that have things called compression and so on that allow you to work deeper levels. They're still structured that way as a Unilevel, but this is kind of the basics of what a Unilevel looks like. Okay, so now let's cover the next one. All right, now let's cover the Stairstep Breakaway. Now the Stairstep Breakaway is similar to a Unilevel, except they have kind of a lot of models out there that are called coded models, where you earn certain bonuses for certain promotion levels. Differently. Okay, now same thing would kind of happen here is, let's say you put your first, you got your 4 levels, 3, 4, okay, and then when you personally enroll somebody, they kind of go there. But with a lot of Stairstep Breakaways, you have the benefits of these levels per se, but a lot of them pay what we call bonuses. That you would be paying higher dollar amounts as certain people come into here. So this would be kind of your A group, let's say. And then if you put somebody here, you're doing the same thing and they're still going on your same levels, but this might be your B group, where here you might make $10 extra in bonuses. Here you might make $25 extra, and if then this guy gets promoted here, you might make, in your C group, you might make $100, okay? Now, Stairstep Breakaways are really good plans for people that, are good recruiters, because there's a lot of bonuses up front with these. Now, the only, with these is what happens is, like, let's say this guy goes out and gets his first 2, he might be promoted to this level now that he's getting paid these bonuses. Some of the older, Stairstep Breakaways, you might have where somebody, your top guy got in early on and then you never got paid on them because they ended up what they called coding out or things like that. So if you're looking for one of these, or you're kind of analyzing one, make sure that they have kind of generational bonuses promotion-wise, because you will always get people that turn out to be studs in these areas that, instead of not getting paid anything, you want to make sure that you're involved in a company that might have those generational overrides for those people. I mean, obviously you can't get paid on every single person ever joins a group typically, but this is, the Stairstep is kind of like an advanced model of Unilevel with extra bonuses and so on. A lot of them now, they go extra levels as far as infinity bonuses and so on. So this is kind of just the basics, is what these kind of represent, or generations of different people advancing in different groupings. So let me go to the next one now. All right, now let's cover the forced matrix. Now, in a forced matrix, what a forced matrix kind of became when they first originally, brought these out, is they're kind of a model to be used for fear of loss. Basically, get in now. There's going to be what they call spillover. Spillover is where somebody maybe in your upline would be putting people in that may benefit you because they are placed underneath of you. Now, there are some pros and some cons of forced matrix, but as an example, if you ever see the term like 2x5 forced matrix, okay, a 2x5 forced matrix, what it means is that you can only go 2 people wide on your first generation, and these people can only go 2 people wide, and these people can only go 2 people wide, but this would be your first generation, second, third, fourth, and fifth. So exponentially it would grow out, and what would happen is you would basically be creating a single group of people. There may be like 125 actual positions that are available to be filled that you could get paid on. Now, a lot of there's hybrid force matrix now, forced matrices, I believe that's the plural of those, that come out and they kind of, they have the ability to pay deeper than these levels. Or some of them have smaller matrices, but when you fill one, you can start a new one and things like that. But just to keep this simple, is let's say the benefit, I guess, or why a lot of people like forced matrices, there's, if you were a recruiter, your first 2 people, go, hey, when I put people in, there might spill over you, okay? You might spill into your group. So on your third one, you might have put these, first 2 in. On your next one, it would go maybe right here to fill this spot. And then if this guy puts somebody in, his first might go there, and his second, because you already filled it, would have to be placed down here. So his first person would go down here. Now, a forced matrix is kind of a little bit of an illusion a lot of times. If you don't have somebody that you're front line to that's a complete monster, you're probably never going to get any spill, because if this leg goes like this, and you're here, okay, well, this guy's got to fill all this over here, and this guy's got to fill all that over there. So there's a little bit of an illusion out there of how the true benefit of a forced matrix. Still going to come down to leadership. Still going to be coming down to you building a business. But make sure if you ever get involved in a forced matrix that you're doing one that allows you to get paid maybe very simply, okay, not a lot of smoke and mirrors, and there's not too many this and this, because a lot of it's smoke and mirrors to try to get you to just join, and there's not really any pay out there. So forced matrix, very simple, just you see 2x3s, 2x5s, 3x10s, whatever, and it just, the bigger they are, the bigger that number is, the harder it is to fill a matrix. So anyhow, that's a forced matrix. Let's move on to the next one. All right, now let's talk about the binary. Now the binary is bi meaning 2, is basically this is you. This is a very popular compensation plan now. But what happens is on a binary you can only have what we call 2 primary legs that sprout off directly from you. Okay, doesn't mean you're not going to have a bunch of offshoots. It almost looks like a big giant group of grapes eventually if you do it right. But a binary, they have the enthusiasm and the fear of loss as a forced matrix would have because of spill. And you'll hear the term when you're looking at binaries kind of spill and power leg. Power leg, that's the word I was looking for, phrase. Power leg would mean that, let's say somebody above you in this group up here brings somebody in, and then the next person they bring in would go here, and the next person go here. So this leg might be considered your power leg, or you might have what they call volume or sales in one organization. With binaries, typically what you'll have to do is you will always have to be working your one leg. Now, the binaries where you have to have like multiple reps come in on one side versus multiple reps on another. They call those cycles. Those are very hard to do. I hate those kind. I think those are just brutal. You can hype up anything. Don't you believe me on that one. But with a binary, if you've got one that's a legitimately good binary, you should always have something in place that will always reward you regardless of what leg you might place somebody in somehow. Okay, so if you put a guy in here and then that leg takes off, instead of not getting paid anything on a person you put in a power leg, there's got to be something there, otherwise you're going to get real disgruntled real fast. What typically happens with a company is in a binary comp plan is they will pay you primarily on the weakest side of your organization, or this will be the group that you have to work. It's harder a lot of times for people to build binaries unless they're very good recruiters to make any substantial money, just because you've got the illusion people are jumping in for fear of loss, get into my power leg, blah, blah, blah. But eventually that's like kind of a little bit of a grass fire and so on. You're always going to have to still develop your skills, build a real group, and sometimes, hey, I've had binaries to where they flip-flopped. One time, a couple months this would be my power leg, and all of a sudden more volume came in on that side and it flip-flopped. So binaries are good, and what happens is each person here inside these legs has only 2 people they can bring on, and the computers are just going to check. Binaries are very good for companies, and the fact that there's quite a bit of breakage in some of the older binaries that rolls directly up to the company and not paid out to the reps. But to each his own. I'm not saying they're good or bad on any of these comp plans I'm explaining to you, but that's another one. So let me kind of explain the last one, and then I'm going to kind of give you some closing comments. All right, this one's called the single line. Now, these have actually started to become more popular. I have actually been, a couple years ago, I was in one, it was a single line. And what happens is when you join, you're automatically, there's only one leg from the top of the company to China, basically, that just goes boom, boom, boom. Now, the fear of loss issue is really what draws people to these, along with a lot of them, to where you got to get in. And there's a lot of illusion to binary single lines due to the fact that you'll see somebody that says, hey, look at my back office. I only put one person in, but I've got, this leg that has 500 people under me. And you're like, holy smokes, look at that. It's going like crazy and so on. Now, here's the thing. I look at single lines kind of like beer goggles. I used to be in the bar business, but if you know what beer goggles are, where you look at it, it looks amazing, it looks great, and then all of a sudden you sober up and you go, oh my gosh, what did I do? But beer goggles, and not to reflect on the past here, but with a single line, the problem you're having, how they pay out actually, is they are just a fancy form, most of them, as a Unilevel. They only will pay you based on your personal genealogy, which means how many people you enrolled, they enrolled, and so on. They might just be, this might be your first person, and this might be your second person that came in here, but you're only going to get paid on this one and this one. Sometimes they try to incorporate some bonuses for the purpose of you getting into those groups, but a lot of it's illusionary to try to do that, to get people in as quick as possible in those legs. There are some companies out there that are having some decent success with those, but it's still all these comp plans. I don't care what you're working, they've all got the super mega hybrid binaries or hybrids out there, not just binaries. They all come out with, patent pending and things like that. Don't get caught up in the hype of all these things. I used to all the time. But primarily what you want to look for if you're going to make a decision is, hey, if I'm going to buy the product or service, is it going to make sense for me and my family to market? And is this something I'm going to use? Is it just a money game? Do I look at it as a long-term deal? What am I trying to accomplish? Weigh all these facts. But all this for the video was really trying to get you to understand is just kind of the basics of how some of these comp plans work. I could go into details on every single one of them, how to max comp plans, things like that. Maybe I'll do that in later videos. I've taken some of these comp plans and tweaked them a little bit to work myself and exploded my businesses, and faster than anybody else in the entire companies have done them, just because I understand them. Comp plans to me are like puzzles. I have found some that are, work better than others and so on. But anyhow, I didn't want to take this video too long, probably a little longer than normal videos, but all the comp plans work if you just go out there and work a business and, timing and so on. So hopefully that gave you a little understanding of these, and I'll see you on the next videos. Thanks.